Hey, I'm James, and I do videos on Fridays, and I'm kind of, I don't know how to say, like the token gay guy of the collab channel, because I am the only guy. Kind of sucks. Today's topic, as you know if you've been watching our videos, is our coming out stories. And I've always known that I liked guys, and not so much girls, since I can remember, since I was like, I don't know, 7 years old, I'd say. I think 7 was the developing year, sorry. I tried telling my dad when I was 9 years old. Kind of early, I know, but it didn't go so well because I kind of played chicken. Like I played the guessing game, kind of. I was like, oh, guess what's wrong with me? Which is kind of a weird question. And we spent like a good hour talking about it, like, oh, is there something wrong at school? Is there something wrong, blah, 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 blah. Just anything. And then at one point, he was like, are you gay? And my heart shot up like 200 beats per minute. I was like, no, that's not it. And I chickened out. And I came up with just some random, something that wasn't even wrong, so I can just say, so I can avoid the question. I'll remember that like quite well. It's one of the few things I remember since before I was like 10. So that kind of subsided until I was about 14. Like, I don't know, I kind of liked guys, but I just kind of thought it was normal, and I think I tricked myself into liking girls up until I was about 14. And then I started coming to terms with it, but I never identified as it, and I never told anybody, and I just kind of realized, okay, this is who I am. But the thing is, I thought I was bisexual. Like, I thought I still had attraction to guys and girls, just to make it, easier. And I came out to my parents before I came out to my friends, which is weird. I was on my way home from my friend Kevin's house, and my mom and I were sitting in the car. She was driving, and I was like, Mom, I have something to tell you. And she's like, what? And I was like, you have to guess. And she's like, what? And I was like, just guess. And she's like, well, does it relate to you? And I'm like, yeah. And she's like, I don't know. After a few blank questions, she's like, is it your sexuality? And I'm like, yes. And she's like, gay. And I'm like, no. She says, bi. And I'm like, yeah. And there was a little bit of awkward silence, because, that's an awkward thing to say. She's like, well, it's okay. Like, I accept you. And I was like, oh, wow, that was a lot easier than I thought. And she was kind of weird. She was wondering how my dad was going to react when I told him. But then things changed. Like, my mom ended up telling my dad anyway. But then he came and talked to me about it, so I told him. And he didn't care. He's accepting, for the most part. He's just kind of like, oh, yeah, you love who you love. I don't care. Like, you're my son. My mom, there's some issues with that. It just kind of like, I don't know. It always comes up in arguments. Like, it's almost like she kind of uses it against me. And she still doesn't believe I'm gay. Because between now and then, I did tell her I was gay. And I don't know, she just kind of uses it in arguments sometimes, and she doesn't believe me, like, at all. She's just kind of like, oh, you're probably just experimenting, blah, 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 blah. And hey, I'll take that. Like, I don't need the awkward tension around the house. But I'm out, like, I started telling people at school when I was, like, 16. Early 16, like, beginning of junior year, or middle of junior year. I started being okay with it, someone asked, I'd be like, yeah, I'm gay, whatever. No one really seemed to care. Except for, the couple odd dumbasses at my school who are homophobic. But no, for the most part, I've been accepted with open arms. And, me coming out led to me meeting, like, my best friends who I'm doing this collaboration channel with. Now, I think it's a lot easier. Not easier, but, like, it's a lot more accepting this time, like, in life. Like, being a gay man in this time, in this generation. Everyone's been really accepting. Like, I was shocked. Like, I was so scared coming out. Like I made it seem like it wasn't that big of a deal, but deep down, it really was. Like, I was scared for my life. Like, I was going to get hate crimed. Sorry, I keep messing with my pens. Hate crimed, and, like, bullied at school. Like I always thought I was going to end up getting bullied, or people would start staring at me in the hallways, but I never did. Like I've never been discriminated against. I've never been gay bashed, and it's awesome. Like I understand there are people out there who are in less fortunate situations, I guess you can say, but from in my situation, like in my case, I've never been experienced to bullying, and I'm very lucky. I don't doubt that for a second. I do still get some comments from my parents, even though I am out. Like, are you gonna, try dating girls? Are you ever gonna date a girl? Are you ever gonna have children? Blah blah. Now, yes, of course I'm gonna have children, but they'll be with a guy. Um, I think that my mom has a mental mind block when it comes to male on male interactions, so we just kind of avoid that conversation. But like, I still tell her like who I'm dating, if I'm seeing somebody, and like eventually, my mom and my dad do like to meet my boyfriends and stuff like that. So I guess my coming out at my house wasn't too bad. Initially, of course, as it would always be, it was awkward. But now it's a lot better. Like there's almost no tension on that situation. There are other situations that cause major tension in my household, but I will talk about that in another video. The advice I have for anyone out there who is struggling with their sexuality or struggling to tell someone about their sexuality is, of course, you should think about it very, very long and hard. Wait till you're sure. Wait, because when you come out, your life changes. Like, there's no going back to how you once were, because word spreads fast. If you're around school, around work, around your town, everything, word spreads like wildfire. And you got to be ready to accept those consequences. There's not only consequences though. There's a lot of benefits to coming out. You feel a lot more comfortable with yourself. You can start being yourself around your friends and your family. It makes it a lot easier to meet potential boyfriends or girlfriends. But you also have to live with the consequences of everyone knowing your sexuality, people judging your sexuality if you live in just a homophobic area. And of course, at first, people are gonna be treating you differently. People are gonna be uncomfortable with it. But I mean, that's people. That you can't please everybody. You have to do what you think is right for yourself. And that's all I have to say on the topic. I'll see you guys next week. Like, follow, reblog, subscribe, do all that good stuff. Get our name out. Really excited to start this collaboration channel with my friends. And I'll see you next Friday.